Hello there, baseball fans. Tim Lowry from Backfields Media with you. We are covering perhaps the most stacked position in all of eMLB, and that is third base. We're going to count down the top 10 right now in eMLB. We're excited to do that. If you like this, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please tell us how you think we're doing, what you'd like to see. And also stay tuned, because at the end we'll tell you how to get even more eMLB content. It's a phenomenal online baseball league run by Out of the Park. Commish does a fantastic job. It's 25 years he's been doing this in one form or another, and it's just incredible. All right, so let's get right into our countdown. Here is our number 10 third baseman in eMLB right now. And he's one of these players that has a new address. He is Kent Hrbek Jr., signed by the Minnesota Twins in the offseason. Kind of a homecoming of sorts. His dad played for Minnesota his entire career. And this is a chance for him to kind of continue the legacy. Had last year with the Cubs, struggled just a little bit, but still very valuable. Slugged .506, had 27 homers, down a little bit off of his previous totals, but still a phenomenal player. Power is his best feature. He is a plus power hitter with excellent contact. He's a line drive hitter, focused kind of right up the middle, pulls some, but not overly so. Plus defender at third base with a fantastic arm, sure-handed. And one of the things that's not talked about much with Hrbek is his ability to run. He's got above average speed and plus ability to steal a base. So Hrbek is phenomenal in that sense. BABIP of around 320, so he's always going to be hitting for a high average. In close games and late games, he hit 336 with 8 homers, 165 OPS. Just an incredible player with the game on the line. The Cubs really benefited from having him in the lineup. Who does he closely compare to? Washington Nationals third baseman Jose Anthony. Also former Rangers slugger Josh Hamilton. And one of my favorites when I first started watching baseball, former Atlanta Braves third baseman Bob Horner. Comps extremely closely to Kent Hrbek. And for his age 26 season, Hrbek looked an awful lot like Miguel Cabrera. And I can see that. Kind of sums up the profile very well. Kent Hrbek is our number 10 third baseman in all of eMLB right now. Let's move to number 9. Our number 9 is recently signed by the Houston Astros, Danny Diaz. Diaz, 258, 363, 573 slash line. He is a classic power hitter, trying to hit the ball over the left field fence, pull hitter, excellent eye, definitely gets more than his fair share of walks. Just a tremendous offensive talent. Pitchers really don't know what to do. He's getting his walk totals back to where they were in his peak years, in like his early career in Boston. He averages about 4.1 pitches per at bat, so kind of high. He's not, immediately taking a swing. And one of the things that's noticeable in his splits is that from the 4th inning on, he hit 33 of his 46 homers. So he is a late game specialist. With the bases loaded, he hit 500. He went 8 for 16 and hit 3 grand slams. So, again, he's just a nightmare for pitchers. Defensively, above average. Um, Decent, has a tremendous arm, bordering on elite. And it will be interesting to see how he does in Houston, expecting big things from him. Don't expect, can you imagine him hitting into the Crawford boxes this coming season for Houston? Going to be a great year. Probably going to be higher on this list next year, too. Who does he compare to? Compares to Edgar Barrios, Pedro Serrano, and also Fernando Tatis Jr. Comps with him, especially around the fact that he's 30 years old. It's kind of what Tatis was doing as well. Danny Diaz is our number 9 third baseman in eMLB right now. Let's go to our number 8 hitter. And number 8 is the aforementioned Edgar Barrios. He too had a change of address. The LA Dodgers signed him to a big deal and have him signed through 2037. And a lot to like here. 290, 381, 515 slash line. Has improved his contact tremendously. Was hitting in the 250s, 270s. And then it all just kind of seemed to click. So good contact. Look at the K rate. Dropped off about 10 for the season. So getting better there as well. Above average speed, something you don't hear often about when you think of Barrios. Is not an aggressive stealer in his own right. But again, we saw this a lot with Texas players where everybody was running, whether that was their game or not. And so kind of comes out well there. Average defender, probably not going to win any Gold Gloves, but isn't going to get killed down there at third base either. Does a lot of damage in the early innings. He hit 14 homers and hit 337 in the first 3 innings. You see over in the personality and the intangibles, there were some issues early in his career where there was some concerns as to what kind of impact he would have on his team. Yeah, not going to be the first one in the clubhouse, not going to stay late, not a leader. But I feel like the offense, his capabilities speak for themselves. He gets up to the plate and just delivers. And so while as a scout, you'd love to see him have more captain-style tendencies, he is who he is, and he's a valuable player. It's all he really needs. And he was very highly sought after. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. In fact, he is our number 8 third baseman in all of baseball. Comps extremely well to the Danny Diaz. They kind of traded off with each other. Jose Anthony is also a comp. And in terms of where he's at for his age 30 season, he matches former Twins star and Hall of Famer Harmon Killebrew. And yes, I could see that. He's going to have that kind of career. Edgar Barrios is our number 8 third baseman in eMLB. Right. And now our number 7 is the aforementioned Jose Anthony. It's kind of like we got a 4-man weave going here with the last 4 guys. Has been a Nationals hero for some time after being traded from the New York Yankees. The fans just love him, and there's a lot to like here. Slugged .527 last year, 33 doubles, 33 homers, hit .289. Definitely above average defensive talent. Power is his big thing, but also has above average contact to go with that. He racks up the Ks, but he's got a BABIP of 331. So when he does make contact, it's going somewhere. It's it's successful. A lot of authority in his swing as well. Speed, average speed, good all-around player here. You could call him a five-tool player. He's average and above in just about everything. I feel like the part of his game that is undervalued is his defense. I had always tended to think of him as a slugger and just more of an offensive guy, but Pirates got a really good defender here at third base. And maybe maybe the problem is me. But he is something else. Uh, Another great hitter when the game is on the line, close and late. He hit 330 with 11 homers and 186 OPS. Dangerous game when the game is in the balance. You don't want to see him come up. His comparisons, a lot of the guys you just saw before, Herbeck Jr., Barrios. Also comps to Kevin Mitchell, former Giants star. He's famous. And also at his age, comparison to Miguel Cabrera as well. Jose Anthony is our number 7 third baseman in all of eMLB right now. And now at number 6 is the Phillies star Wade Beers, the Chicken Man. I look at this profile and I am blown away by all the aqua and the potential blue. And then I realize he's only 22 years old. He had 306, 425, 65, led the league with 106 walks, 44 homers, 112 RBI. And just seems to take it all in stride. He's just a very, very talented player. I fully expect him to be one of the all-time greats. When you look at this guy and you see how well he hits, and he's got 77 homers at the age of 22. This is a guy who could end up surpassing Mike Schmidt in Phillies history at third base. That really says a lot. Above average defense, the arm is the thing that makes him so successful there. That's a plus arm there. He hits phenomenally well at home, and it's a great ballpark to do it in. 336, 449, 653 slash line at home with a 1.101 OPS. And in high leverage situations, he delivers with a 1.035 OPS. You don't want to see him. It's not a good time for you when it's his turn at bat. Wade Beers has been a phenomenal. He's a linchpin on that team. And with all the moves that they have made and the push to bring a championship home to Philadelphia, he is going to be a huge part of that if that indeed happens. Who does he compare to? Compares to Colton Short. Again, another league-leading home run hitter in his own right. One of my favorite players that I learned about as a kid, Luke Easter, former Negro League player and played a little bit for Cleveland towards the end of his career. This is what Luke Easter used to do, hit a lot of home runs, get on base. By age, he also compares to another great first baseman, Michael Sean Cain. Wade Beers is our number 6 third baseman in eMLB right now, and it just shows you how deep the third base position is when a player of this high quality and ability is only the 6th best. And I know there may be some arguments about that, but let's go on. Let's move on to our top 5 and see if you have any debates after that. Number 5 is another one of my favorites. It is Miami Marlins third baseman Eric Boncola. Has been in the league a little more than 4 years, and every one of those has been fantastic. This past season, he helped the Marlins get to their first playoff spot in a long time. 315, 405, 556. It's the perfect slash line for a slugger. He has an exceptional batting eye. This is a real superstar in the making. Speed is about average, but everything else incredible, a plus defender. The arm is great, plus the range is great. And it's funny because he's right on the same side of the field as Red Ditt. Between the two of them, there's nothing getting through. Just phenomenal, everything that he can do. He's growing into his contact, and as you can see, the two-tone in his profile suggests that the scouts think that he has the skill to improve greatly, both in his contact and his batting average on balls in play. I'll just put it this way. He's got 740 hits already. As you see, he just turned 25, or just recently turned 25. This is a candidate for a 3,000 hit career and more. I don't think he's going to just barely make it. With the bases empty on his batting splits, he had a 184 OPS. He was a one-man rally starter. He slugged 602, hit a few home runs. With an 0-1 count, you'd done absolutely nothing to get ahead. He has a 287 OPS plus. Granted, small sample size, but again, and you see in a lot of these great hitters that we're seeing in these top tens, they are not afraid of whatever the count is. It doesn't matter. They're going to deliver regardless. They trust their skills. Compares to Garrett Atkins and Morgan Ensberg most highly, but right behind that, a couple of CCPs and Jeff Coleman and Barry Bonds Jr. I can see that, the well-rounded, all-around player. At age 25, he compares to Wander S. Franco in our league, Cardinals hero, recent World Series, and I can see that as well. Eric Von Cola is our number 5 third baseman in all of eMLB right now. And that means that our next is a Tiger slugger, and he's not on the trading block. He is J.R. Frankenstero. Has settled in at Detroit, had a good year last year, had a good year in 2029, had an even better year in 2030. If I was to ask you who are the great 5-tool stars in baseball right now, go. Frankenstero may or may not have made your list, but it was kind of a surprise to me just how well we rated him across the board. He's got plus contact. He is growing in his power potential in doubles and in homers each year. He's making little incremental improvements, and I think it's just going to continue. He's got the speed to steal 35 to 40 bases, but then he's also a slugger with a lot of extra base hits, so that tends to keep the stolen base totals down a bit. The thing that stood out for most of our scouting team is that he doubled his walk rate. He had 44 walks his first year in Detroit. He had 90 this past season. So he's taking a lot of pitches. He's not trying to force the issue, and you're seeing it in an overall improved. His slugging went way up. He's a guy who has figured it out. In the late innings, forget it. 198 OPS plus, 12 homers. He just has a great overall profile. I think he is going to be a star for years to come. Maybe just a shade off of the premier talent that we're seeing at third base right now, but not far from it. I wouldn't be surprised if he improved and joined that squad. Comparisons, compared to Tim Naring and Herb Perry in the 90s at third base, also to CCP's Brick Tamlin and Neil Caffrey. The Caffrey comparison I see, because Caffrey's just like this, great all-around player. Comps out in age to Nationals hero Ryan Zimmerman. And I see it. don't think Zimmerman was as fast, but then that might be my memory that I'm missing something there. Frankenstero is a star. You're going to see him as a star for many years to come. He's got a couple of world titles under his belt, and I think that is going to help him with his leadership and some of his intangibles. He's our number 4 third baseman in all of eMLB right now, J.R. Frankenstero. Now let's go to number 3. Number 3 is St. Louis Cardinals hero Shane Rodecker. Again, speaks to the quality at this position for a guy with this elite talent to only be the 3rd in all of eMLB. 335, 438, 641 slash line, 195 OPS plus for the entire season. That's not a subset of any at-bats. It's not a small sample size. Led the league with 438 on-base percentage. He's on pace rather, to have over 500 homers before he turns 33. So, he's going to join some of the other stars that we've talked about, like Pedro Serrano, in terms of where he's going to end up with career homers. He's an elite defender, compared extremely well there to like a Nolan Arenado, who's best known for his glove. Imagine if Arenado could hit this well. Probably would already be in Cooperstown. High leverage at bats, no surprise that he was phenomenal in those. Had 11 homers and 55 RBIs with a 259 on base percentage. OPS plus, excuse me. He's just part of a host of incredible third basemen. And it's not quite to the point where you could just like shuffle them all up and whoever came out was our list. But here in the top 3 is a significant gap between the top 3 and the rest. But even those were phenomenal. Who does he compare to? If you've been around eMLB for more than 20 minutes, you know these names: Kyler Murray, Eric Von Cola, Jeff Coleman, Ed Brown, Ken Herbeck Jr. And the Cardinals have him signed through the entire decade of the 2030s. So whatever he does, he will be doing it for the Cardinals, and he is going to be the cornerstone of this franchise as they move forward. Shane Rodecker is our number 3 third baseman in all of eMLB right now. At number 2 is Toronto superstar Ed Brown, my CCP, representation of my granddad. He is an incredible hitter. Hit 340, 427, 656 slash line. I feel like this was the year he finally put it all together, and that's crazy because he had like 7 more seasons up until then. He's just a phenomenal hitter. Won the Gold Glove this year for the first time, which was one of the primary things that, his story. He was a huge fan of Buster Bluth throughout high school, has idolized him, and is now duplicating a lot of the things Bluth has done in baseball history. Also got a Silver Slugger. Has hit over 300 for his entire career, and he has the respect of his teammates, high leadership quality, very intelligent, high work ethic. In all of eMLB, his defensive efficiency was the highest among third basemen with a 1.054, had a 131 OPS plus with 2 strikes. He hit 268 with 18 homers. And in all of the splits that I've seen to this point, his is among the highest with 2 strikes on him. Just incredible. Compares very well to Rodecker, Murray, Trey Griffey, Jeff Coleman. All of his comps are CCPs. As far as age, however, he compares most closely to Vladimir Guerrero. So I thought that was interesting as well. Ed Brown is our number 2 third baseman in all of eMLB right now. And that means that the number 1 third baseman, the leader of such a packed field, is the fire strike, Jeff Coleman. Any other year, I think he could have been a unanimous MVP. Hit 360, 464 on base percentage, slugged 578. He got on base almost half the time. He led the league with 206 hits, 135 runs. He is a 5-tool star. He's just an elite batter. Love the contact, and you see the room to grow. That's not frightening at all. This is another player who I think, kind of like Sean Thornton back when we talked about first baseman, this is somebody who I think when the expansion year comes up is going to be challenging to hit 400. He is going to rack up career totals that are just going to be phenomenal. He is a linchpin on a terrific team in Cleveland. They've made a lot of strides, and like every year they're in the conversation for winning it all. Jeff Coleman is a huge reason behind that. On 0-1 counts, he hit 564. That number right there just blew my mind. He is the premier leadoff hitter in all of the eMLB. He compares, obviously, to Voncola, Rodecker, Barry Allen. The 46 steals. Someone asked, like, well, Brown won the Silver Slugger and won the Gold Glove. How is Coleman rated above him? It's the steals. It's the all-around game. And again, it's that level of superiority here at third base where just that one little thing tips the scale in Coleman's behalf. He is signed through 2034. He compares historically and at his age 26, to Chipper Jones. This is a surefire Hall of Famer, if there ever was one. He is our number 1 third baseman in all of eMLB, and as such, probably one of the greatest players in eMLB right now, period. It's Jeff Coleman of the Cleveland Guardians. So, do you think we missed somebody? Do you not like the ranking? Should we shift somewhere in the top 3? Leave your comments, your thoughts. Always, though, like and subscribe to the channel so you can always get these as soon as they drop and you can get notified. We're dropping these on a regular basis. We're 2/3 of the way through, and we've got the premier defensive positions to come. Those lists are going to be phenomenal as well. This is all part of the eMLB universe, an online baseball league using Out of the Park. We're on Twitch TV at the link you see there. Tuesday nights, Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, game of the night. Sunday, 10 a.m. All times are Eastern time, by the way. Sunday is Coffee with the Commish, where we have a game of the day. Play about 2 seasons a year. Easy to keep track of, easy to get lost in. It is such a blast to be a part of this league. Subscribe to the official eMLB universe on YouTube, there at that link below. This has been so much fun. This is the list I had the most fun with. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and hope to see you next time as we review the top 10 catchers in all of eMLB. I'm Tim Lowry for Backfields Media, hoping you have a good rest of your day.